Why Tech Marine? Not that I'm unhappy with more content, but I'm more of a tabletop guy and I'm wondering what the Tech Marine will bring to the table. In the tabletop, the Tech Marine's primary role is to buff vehicles, tank armor, and dreadnoughts. Not saying that they can't do damage when it comes to fisticuffs, but they're more useful for buffs. Now, obviously, mentioning vehicles, we don't have any vehicles, right? So that aspect is definitely not something we should expect. Hey, Space Marine 3 with vehicles would be kind of sick, though. Okay, now, they're more useful for buffs. We may have a really good utility class here, which is kind of cool. I definitely like utility in this game, like anything that can basically provide you a buff for something substantial that isn't damage, in the sense like for Sniper, Medicae Adept, to be able to res players quicker. That is a utility. I mean, if you want to consider Unmatched Zeal a utility, you can, even though it's healing. Healing is kind of utility. For the most part, though, the Tech Marine, I can imagine when it comes to support, I really hope we get a way to increase the damage for the squad. That would be cool. That would be very cool. I'm not sure what to expect, to be completely honest, besides the fact that we just need something interesting with the Tech Marine. And to be completely honest, from all the classes that we've talked about, I do think Tech Marine has the potential for the most build options. I mean, not to mention they also have multiple arms, so I mean, there's something there, obviously. No, but seriously though, when it comes to the Tech Marine, I'm definitely very interested in the unique aspect of the class. So if this class is going to be closer to a support class in a sense, it's still going to have some very, very cool stuff outside of that. At least I believe. Even if you look at the Bulwark class, you could say, hey, Bulwark's a support class, but it's also pretty tanky and it also has some pretty insane DPS. So even though the Tech Marine should have a lot of utility, it's not going to be the one thing to define it. I'm still very, very interested to see what the devs cook up with Tech Marine. But yeah, anything that gives him something unique as a perk, as in comparison to something that just increases his damage or something like that, we're definitely more interested in something unique, at least in my opinion, to be completely honest. I want to see the Tech Marine either support our teammates or do something a little bit different. Obviously, it needs to feel fresh. So if we have a support class for Tech Marine, it definitely should do things like buff the damage of your teammates, maybe armor repair. I think that's fair. That's definitely utility. I'm definitely curious to see what the team perks would be. Now, I kind of wanted to bring this conversation over to ask you guys if you think they made the right choice with Tech Marine. Do you think Tech Marine was the right choice for the first new class, or potentially the only new class? The other options would have been Chaplain, Apothecary, Librarian. I'll throw that in there. I'll throw Terminators in there. A lot of you guys really want Terminators. We might need to talk about that one day, but for now, for patch 10, we got to talk about what's coming. And to me, Tech Marine, I think, is a good choice, but I would like the devs to lean more towards utility and support than DPS, in a sense. That's, in my opinion, that would feel very satisfying. Only one of those aforementioned vehicles are actually in the game, the Dreadnought, and is locked to one game mode. I'm sure it'll be made up for with team buffs instead, maybe capturing zones quicker. Ooh, that would be kind of cool if it had like an objective cooldown speed up, like if you're, spinning the wheels in siege mode or anything like that. Covering an objective, you need to, make sure you take that spot. Like, for example, in Exfiltration, when you have to disconnect the servers, yeah, it's kind of like King of the Hill. You need to occupy an area for a large amount of time. That should go by quicker with Tech Marine. Not sure, just want to get other thoughts. I suppose I shouldn't expect it to be like the tabletop either. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, dude, if you guys are satisfied or dissatisfied with the choice of Tech Marine, let me know in the comments. We're going to go into the comments to see if anyone has any good ideas for the Tech Marine that they can, basically extend the class to us in a comment section. No, but seriously though, when it comes to Tech Marine, I'm definitely very interested to see what the devs cook up, but I also wanted to see the overall reception of the Tech Marine now that it will be, it's confirmed for patch 12. If this is the only class that we get that's a new class, would the community be disappointed or satisfied? Let's see how people react to this one. I have a genuinely good idea coming from Pascal in Rogue Trader, who could wield two-handed weapons with his own servo arms. Okay, very interesting. Maybe Tech could fire 2 guns with Q and mouse, secondary and primary, melee with gun. Imagine the possibilities. So we have seen some leaks where we believe he has a shoulder-mounted weapon, but the idea of him using his extra arms for a two-handed melee weapon, now, I think they're onto something there, because we've been kind of keeping an eye on the melee weapon, you know, the Tech Marine has. It's a pretty long halberd. We have covered it in the past. It's not something I think the Assault class could just pick up and not look weird with it. I mean, even if you consider the fact that the Assault class actually technically runs around with a Thunderhammer with 1 arm, but still, obviously, when they go for a slam, it's two-handing the Thunderhammer. But the halberd looks long enough where it feels like the melee weapon for Tech Marine could potentially be only unique to Tech Marine. So if that's the case, I think that would be a little disappointing. However, considering it's a halberd, that means I'm going to be playing Tech Marine quite a bit. I really enjoyed the way that weapon looked. So, I mean, if that is the case, that would be a little bit disappointed. However, the way they, obviously illustrate the Tech Marine having servo arms, obviously, I think that means the Tech Marine definitely should have the capabilities to hold a two-handed weapon, or at the very least, we shall see a mounted weapon as well. So, dude, honestly, this is going to be very interesting. Initially, I had the same thoughts, and particularly when it was still being debated around whether we would get an Apothecary or Tech Marine, I was thinking that the current state of the game's difficulty, why do we need support classes at all when they could just tweak weapon damage or health regeneration? I mean, that's fair, but I kind of like the class dynamic of being able to stretch. Basically, the sniper can be a support class and a DPS. The bulwark can be a support and a tank and a DPS if you want to. The heavy actually has some pretty interesting support perks. And if you play around your teammates, you can potentially increase their damage and their ability cooldown. Oh, which also reminds me, the Tech Marine definitely needs to have a way to help out your teammates' cooldown. That's great utility. Now, I think with Apothecary or Tech Marine, to be completely honest, the Apothecary definitely appealed to me more initially. But when I saw the Tech Marine's weapons, obviously, I want to use those weapons. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think it's really tough to say just add both, especially in this conversation. We have mentioned before, this all really comes down to, if they add in another class to this game, it's very unlikely we will see it this year, 2026. Like, if they add in Apothecary, unless they're currently working on it, it's potentially something that could be held off for year 3, but year 3 could potentially not be a thing. So, sheesh, man. Yeah, when it comes to what classes they pick Tech Marine. I do think Tech Marine has the most utility and the most build options, at least off the top of my head. They could restore armor. They can, increase or decrease or increase. Either way, they can support the cooldown for your teammates. Sorry, it's still very early for me. But yeah, regardless, I think Apothecary could also do those things. Like, they could definitely heal armor if they wanted to, but they're more of a health healer. I will say, maybe the devs just didn't want to add Apothecary because of that, that dynamic. And apparently the devs just really dislike healing or something. I don't know. They mentioned that they didn't like Invigorating Icon a long time ago and never did anything about it. So, I mean, outside of nerfing it, which is fine. Like, the nerf on Icon right now is definitely not that bad. It's not that bad. As long as you're Prestige and you have cooldown, it's fine. Like, ultimately, Invigorating Icon is still very powerful. But I don't think the existence of that perk should really stop the devs from thinking about making an Apothecary. I think they just need to get creative, ultimately. But the Tech Marine, I can see, is probably a little bit easier to approach, because now you don't have to worry about the healing economy of the game. You can just worry about what the Tech Marine does that's unique to the Tech Marine. Now they've added in these new battle modifiers that will make the game more challenging. I think support classes like the Tech Marine will be needed more at higher difficulty levels. Think hard mode in Siege when stuff gets chaotic. Being able to have a deployable turret or buffs to certain weapons or abilities to give you that edge, or to maybe call in Valtis quicker or more often. So I think the Tech Marine having anything to do with the actual Dreadnought and Siege mode, I'm not too sure if that's satisfying, to be completely honest. I'm not too sure that could be a waste of a perk for operations, so essentially it's probably not going to be a thing. It's too specific, essentially, but I do like the idea of that. Also, with the new ops being released, I suspect some of those will be geared towards the Tech Marine's abilities, so he just doesn't become another class to level up. Dude, okay. I'm kind of lost here. I don't think they would add in a class that you need to use for a specific operation. I still like the idea of the Tech Marine making sure that objectives go by quicker. I like the idea of that, but I don't like the idea of a unique operation for just the Tech Marine, you know? Not to mention voice lines and everything, like, sheesh, man. When it comes to a new class for this game, there's actually a lot that is outside of the actual class functionality. Like, it needs voice lines that bounce off the other members. So, unless the devs actually anticipated adding in a new class, potentially you could just be playing a Tech Marine that just doesn't say anything. That would be unfortunate. Let's hope that's not the case. I have faith in the devs that they know what they're doing with this. But, yeah, if the Tech Marine started to feel like you're playing Siege mode and just doesn't say anything, that could be a little bit disappointing. From a gameplay, not tabletop perspective, the Tech Marine is likely the engineer class. Survivability won't be the best, but they'll bring pets, automated defenses, buffs, etc. to support the squad. So, pets build in Space Marine 2, that'd be kind of crazy. I don't see pets happening, to be completely honest. I just don't know what pet would be acceptable. You know? Automated defenses. I mean, we kind of have focus restoration. Should we have focus restoration on Tech Marine's prestige perks as well? That'd be kind of cool. I would like that. That could potentially be a little bit overpowered, but I think that would be fine. But automated defenses outside of that, I'm not too sure. Like, if one of your teammates deal damage or get an execution, give them an armor back or an extra armor back. I like that idea. But it's sheesh, yeah. I mean, when it comes to defenses in this game, it really is just armor support or health support. I mean, damage resistance is fine. Yeah, I could see the Tech Marine having a team perk where everyone just takes less health damage in general. That would be kind of cool. Buffs. Yeah, I mean, obviously buffs would be nice as well. But see, here's the thing. Automated defenses. We do have focus restoration. For buffs, we do have the assault team perks where that also supports the cooldown. So, sheesh, man, it's kind of weird to just consider, hey, make a Tech Marine a support class, but it can't have any of the same team perks of any other class. And it's like, okay, well, cooldown's off the table now, which is crazy. Armor regeneration, as long as it's passive, it's off the table. So, what else is there, really? I mean, we do have, of course, we have advanced conditioning. I don't know. I think this is definitely a little bit more complicated than I thought, to be completely honest, because, yeah, I mean, to support the squad, that's one thing, but you also need a unique team perk. Data mining has indicated the Tech Marine's class ability will be an automated backpack gun. Yes, a shoulder-mounted bolter, apparently. I could also see them having both a melee and primary, but no secondary, which would make them somewhat unique. I mean, that's fair. I mean, dude, honestly, when it comes down to the fact that we saw... Well, no, actually, I'm pretty sure we saw the data mine that they have a secondary. However, they definitely, as far as I know, their melee weapon will be unique to them. So there's definitely something going on with the way they're using their arms for the Halberd. So I guess it's really, you know, we're just gonna have to be patient. We're just gonna have to be patient. I didn't know the Tech Marine was gonna be this complicated, to be completely honest. I think the Apothecary would have been a lot easier to implement, but potentially could have been a little bit unbalanced. We will see, though. We will see. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that we missed. Also, let me know in the comments if you think they made the right choice for Tech Marine, because, sheesh, man, no wonder this is taking a bit, because it overlaps with so many different things. Like, for example, if Tech Marine just has damage resistance as a team perk, then every other damage resistance team perk or anything like it, like focus restoration, just stacking them on top of each other is going to be pretty interesting. Like, as far as a new class goes, just trying to think of a unique team perk is kind of difficult. So let me know in the comments if you guys can think of anything for Tech Marine that feels unique for their team perk. Do you think the devs made a mistake when they chose this class? Let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks for watching.